Welcome to the official Hacks podcast from Max and Pineapple Street Studios. I'm Lucia Aniello, creator, showrunner, executive producer, writer, and director of Hacks. Joining me are my other gorgeous creators of Hacks, Jen Statsky and Paul W. Downs.
Hello.
Hi there. I'm back. I am back.
I'm back. I decided I will come back.
Thank
Yes.
you, and
Okay,
I'm so
she's here.
happy.
Yeah.
On this podcast, we'll be talking about every episode together. And over the course of the season, we'll be joined by some of our other amazing cast and crew. Joining us today is our very, very special guest, the one, the only. It's Deborah Vance herself, Jen Smart. Jen!
Oh, cheering for myself.
Thank you for coming back.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.
Okay, here is your official spoiler warning. If you haven't watched the 4th episode of Season 3, go watch it now.
You need to get a meeting with Winnie ASAP.
I promise you we will. Okay, and when we do, I already have a great angle. Okay, I've practiced this. They probably want someone diverse, right? Well, guess what? Old is diverse. Huh?
This episode is called Join the Club. It was written by Guy Branum and directed by Jessica Brunetto. In this episode, Deborah runs into some of her comedy idols and is invited to get a colonoscopy with them.
I will text you all the details.
Okay, can I bring something?
Air freshener.
Meanwhile, Ava struggles with not going to her semi-ex's going away party and decides to join Marcus at trivia night instead.
Hey, is that order for one person or two?
I'm just gonna leave it at the door.
No, just tell me if there's beef. She doesn't eat beef. Beef is a smoking gun, sir!
Meanwhile, Jimmy and Kayla are tasked by Deborah to get a meeting and some FaceTime with the head of the network, Winnie Lendell, played by the one and only Helen Hunt.
Fabulous.
Toot toot.
Boom goes the dynamite. How's my ass taste?
That's,
10 grand, you beta fuck. I'm sorry, I get very competitive, but it is 10 grand.
So, Jean, at this point in our story, Deborah knows that she has this goal, this big mission of getting that chair and being the next host. But she's afraid to say it. Why do you think she's afraid to say it? What do you think about where she's at in her mission?
Well, I totally get why her reaction is that I don't want to come out and say it. Because first of all, you say how badly you want something, then of course you're more subject of ridicule when you don't get it.
Right.
Yep.
And she feels like she already failed in that department, so she's not about to fail again. And also I think she just finds it kind of unseemly when women say what they want. And
The internalized misogyny is deep in that gut.
Exactly. But then she really listens to Ava and she does it. And the thing with Mario Lopez.
Oh my God. Let's talk
Parade.
about
Oh my
that
God.
scene.
All right, well, next up is the Sulphur Springs High School Marching Band. Careful, kids. Those New York City potholes can be a doozy.
Well, not to steal their thunder, Mario, but can I make an announcement here on live television? Thanks. America, I am ready to be the next woman on network late night. That's right. I want to be the next host of The Late Show.
Let's talk about Mario.
Because
We love Mario Lopez.
Because it was, to me, it's in some ways, it's like a very big swing. Deborah's going rogue on live TV, but Deborah Vance and Mario Lopez would be hosts of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
I was like, it feels so grounded and absolutely real.
Yeah.
But she's having her moment. But yeah, he was great. I thought he was
Yeah.
great.
How charming.
Yeah, and that whole montage worked. Once she made that decision, it was like,
Yes.
you're going to do it
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
You're going to
Yes.
go for it.
Yeah.
And that was a fun thing to brainstorm. What are all the ways that the team would get her on every billboard, on every TV, on every
Deborah
taxi
Vance
TV?
donuts.
The Deborah Vance burger, which we don't see, we just hear about.
I wanted to know what that was.
Yeah.
A
the Deborah
burger
burger,
is very interesting to us. Perfectly delivered by Carl Clemens Hopkins.
I think it was Burger King. That's what I always assumed.
I
that it
think
was-
love Burger
I think,
King.
and I think the burger was going to be the Burger Queen, Deborah Vance
There
burger.
it
Oh,
is.
there it
Burger
is.
Queen.
Honestly, Burger King, if you're listening.
Let's do
Well,
it.
we do know a
Vance
lot of
Whopper.
CEOs listen to
Yeah.
this pod.
A lot. Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Because
they
you can-
they play this at Sun Valley.
Yeah, this podcast.
Yeah, this podcast when you arrive.
Oh,
Yes, it's
around the
blasted.
It's
campfire.
blasting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is nice. It's nice
It's
to
nice.
it's nice
It's
to
sweet.
inspire.
It's nice to be able to just, reach across classes,
Yes.
It is.
across the private jet.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Speaking of private jets, we do have a scene on Deborah's private jet. It's our first one of the season, which I think is iconic. I think
Those
it's
are
classic.
so fun.
I love your little, what is it, the
Like
bike?
The,
yeah, the bike.
the
you have?
exercise bike.
I hope people notice what I'm doing because otherwise I'm going to look very
I hope
weird.
they notice
so
it too,
funny.
because it is blink and you
Yeah.
miss it. But in the sound mix, they added a slight sound
little
effect
squeak.
that made it
Yes.
so much funnier to
Yes,
us. It was
yes.
really, really funny. Just a little.
And I have to give you both credit, Gene and Paul. Shooting in that plane, it is incredibly small. I don't know if that I guess on screen it does look like a private jet, but like
It does
is
not
a,
feel as small as it is.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as small on screen as it is. You guys are packed in there, and it gets hot. I'll be honest.
It does.
When I come in to say, "Hey,"
Doesn't
Which is
bother
no
me.
problem for
oh
Gene
yes,
Smart.
okay, we should tell our listeners that Gene is wearing a sweatshirt that says, "Yes, I'm cold."
Now let's talk about you and temperature for a minute.
While you're gone, I will be turning the heat up to 68 because I've started shivering so hard my arm hair is getting thicker. I need the thermostat passcode.
No. A room should be the same temperature as a white wine fridge. Keeps your metabolism on its toes. I don't know what it is. My regular temperature is about 97.4.
Okay, a little lower than average.
So I'm a cool customer.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is, but I am, yes, I get cold all the time, and sound stages are notoriously cold. So I am treated like the Queen of Sheba, and it's kind of embarrassing, actually, because my chair is surrounded by blankets and heaters. And
Well, you know who you share that with?
Me.
Lucia Aniello.
I am constantly freezing.
There you go, baby.
And here's my feeling about cold and comedy. Ready for my hot take on this
Here we
one?
go.
I think it's almost impossible to be funny when you're very cold because I think your brain
Thank
literally
you.
shuts down.
Thank you.
And you are in fight or flight.
Yes.
And your brain is
Yes.
saying, I need to survive. How can I think about being funny right now? We're not in that place.
I love that.
And
You're
that is how
absolutely
I-
right.
that
This
is how I
my
feel.
new excuse.
Yeah.
No, it is true. It's true.
I
is hard.
completely agree.
There's something, I hate being too hot either because I came from Seattle where the temperature is very mild. It never gets really, really cold, never gets really, really hot.
Right.
So either extreme is not comfortable to
Right.
me.
Yep.
Being really hot makes me kind of cranky and uncomfortable.
Yeah, me too.
But it doesn't make me anxious. There's something about being cold
Yes.
that makes me anxious.
Your body's
I-
saying, are we close to the end?
Well, I think we register cold the same way we register pain. So you're in pain when you're cold.
Yeah, I
So,
am.
yeah,
Yeah.
I get that. I do get that.
I-
But you're not cold on the plane.
I'll tell you what, whenever it's like Jean's cold, I'm like, yeah, and I am as well. And
Yes.
I support you fully 100%.
Thank you, honey. And you as well.
Thank
There
you.
we go.
Thank you. I appreciate
I'm going
that.
to get you one of these shirts.
People, this is what we're up against. A Harvard boy with connections, sitting on a stoop, can't compete with a guy who just hosted the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Okay, why don't you just put out a press release saying that you want late nights? That way you're in the conversation.
Oh, God, no. A woman can't just come out and say what she wants. No, that looks
Thirsty.
So in that scene, we talk about Deborah not wanting to say what she wants and put it out there. Do you think that's real for actors in general, like, or performers like Deborah? You think that is something that?
Have you ever done that?
Well, she put out a press release wanting to do hacks. We do know that. We do know that you. Just kidding, dear listener. That's me being cheeky.
Just kidding, Barbara.
I think, oh, sure. I think absolutely. And I think that especially for women, there's always this feeling with actors in general, but I think more so with women of wanting to be easy to work with and undemanding and a team player and a good sport and that can get in your way,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But also I am in life in general, I'm pretty much, I always tell my kids, I say, it never hurts to ask.
Yeah.
People can always say no.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Never hurts to ask in any situation. You do it nicely, but
Yep. Totally. I think that's weirdly. I feel like it is true that I do see a lot of men on the red carpet be like, I'd love to work with this guy, and I want to be in that kind of a movie. And they did say that they want to be a Marvel star. I think hoping that the audience, the universe will hand it to them.
Sure.
But yeah, I think it is different.
I do
for
think
women.
there's a feeling though among actors that if you seem eager or needy at all, that is an instant
turn off,
interest killer.
Yes. Yeah.
To studios or producers or something.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you don't have to audition anymore, but when you used to audition, when you were like starting out your career or throughout it, like, was it hard not to get attached to a part and say, God, I really want this?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That must be, I mean, writers have that a little bit as we go for different gigs, but that's a heartbreaking part of acting.
But also what I would miss more than that almost is just having that feeling. There was a point where it just didn't seem like I was reading anything that was interesting or that I thought was really well written. And I remember saying to a friend once, I said, I just want to have that feeling again of wanting something. I'm so tired of reading something and just going, oh, what a disappointment. Or like, it's like, oh God, that's gross. I can't do that. Or whatever. And I just want to want something that bad. Even if I don't get it, I want that feeling.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
of
that,
just
like,
going, oh my God, I
fire.
just know exactly what I would do with this. And
It's very Deborah Vance of you.
I guess.
To be like, oh, I want to go after something. I'm the underdog in this scenario, which is, her quest for late night is that. Is like, she might not get it, but she wants to go after something because
she needs to be a dog with a bone.
That's right.
She needs a quest. And she feels more comfortable, I think, being the underdog. Because she has been kind of outcast.
Yeah, no, it's true. And she had kind of let that go for so long. Or she thought she had.
Yes.
Until she heard, ding.
Yeah.
Guy's leaving the show. Ding.
Can we talk a little bit about the pickleball scenes?
Why
I know,
not?
Gene, you're not in them, but
Oh my
maybe
God,
that's
so funny.
more fun.
Oh my God.
And
Now-
Helen Hunt's good at pickleball. What can I say?
She's in shape too.
Oh, she's
hey.
fantastic.
I want those arms.
Yeah.
And Blair Beacon plays her coworker / ex-wife.
God, that was hysterical.
Paul, can you
So
talk
funny.
a little bit about the prep for this? Because there were some pickleball lessons.
We
that
did do
happened.
pickleball lessons. We met in Poinsettia Park, actually. Meg and I both met a pickleball pro, I guess, a trainer. Meg did show up in Crocs, and he said, this is dangerous. I do think you need sneakers, but it's all good. We worked it out. We worked on it. And then we had another pickleball day where Meg did return in Crocs. No, because she pickles to the beat of her own ball. But we did do a lot of training, and it was actually really fun. Pickleball is fun.
It's just kind of like bad tennis, right?
It's like tennis meets ping pong, kind
It's
of.
really
Oh,
fun.
God,
I've played it a few
fast.
times.
Stephen
It's
Colbert
fun.
asked me a year or so ago to do a pickleball thing, and I couldn't do it. And I
It's fun.
regretted it ever
You'd
since.
like it. I think you'd like it. It's very, very fun. But in that scene, it is like true to executives. They do have their passions, and it is very in line with what I think a lot of executives might be doing, which is going to a high-end country club to play pickleball.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that I really like in that scene is that we do get to hear the pitch for why Deborah might be a legitimately good host.
And it's a good pitch.
It's a great pitch.
She's certainly unexpected, but a 70-year-old woman is a tough sell.
Well, not to your audience. I mean, the majority of people watching are over 30. You put someone like Jack Danny behind that desk, kids aren't getting off TikTok to watch him, and my mom doesn't know who he is. But Deborah sold 4 million physical DVDs last year. I mean, she's the queen of people who can't figure out their internet. With her, you keep the audience you have, plus you're doing something that's never been done before. And it's a pitch that I genuinely buy. And not just because I said it as the character Jimmy, but I do think that it is a noisy choice. It is something that the audience that Late Night has would appreciate and enjoy.
She's really hot right now.
Yeah, I do think it's buzzy, so you might get a new audience, but you would keep the one you have. I do think Jimmy's pitch is quite good.
Yeah.
So it does take the zaniness of Kayla coming up with this scheme, and then Jimmy's tightly wound, well-rehearsed pitch to actually get a little bit of an inroad.
Yeah.
But it doesn't fully work until we get to Winnie's kid.
Yeah.
Because executives always listen to their kids. And so we get to that great montage, which is kicked off by the ladies of The View.
Yeah.
Which was so
Oh, yeah,
great.
it was so cool to have them on the show.
It was great also because we had set up the beef between Deborah and Joy Behar, which is a mystery. We don't exactly say what the beef is.
We'll hopefully get
Are we
to
going
it.
to find out?
Yeah.
I hope
I
so.
hope so.
We
We'd
might
love her
have
too.
to.
But we got to actually play on that a little bit more when they said yes to setting up this montage of all the crazy publicity Deborah does.
Yeah.
And I love too, just when you see how she's just so good at being a complete hypocrite and liar. Just at the drop of a hat. You know, like when Stephen Tobolowsky asks her if she's had a colonoscopy recently, and she goes, no, and I've been working so much, I'm overdue. And then of course you find out from, was it Damien that she
yes.
just
You
had
just
one?
had one.
I don't care.
Is that
Had one.
I wish we had it. Is that safe? And you're like, don't worry about it.
Maybe we can add it in ADR.
Yeah.
You did such a good job, Jean, playing those scenes where you're so giddy and excited to hang out with those guys because it's a flavor of Deborah we haven't seen.
Oh, I love that. When you spin?
Yeah, when you spin.
It is so
we
cute.
love
I
the
love the
spin. Oh my
spin.
gosh. But it's fun to see Deborah do that because Deborah's always so like cool and she's so high status. You know,
Yes.
Deborah's got everyone's scared of Deborah. So to see you be really giddy and happy to hang out with these guys was really fun.
She's flashing back in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so shocked that you care this much.
Oh, you don't understand. I've always idolized them. When I was first starting in stand-up, they were the guys.
Okay, but weren't you like the girl?
Oh, no. I mean, I could fill seats, but they thought it was because of my sitcom, or the fire. And I was never seen as legit by guys like them.
And now they want you to clean out your colon with them. Dreams really do come true.
I know. You see now that Deborah is sort of, she's visiting old relationships. She's visiting old dreams. She's getting in touch with all of this stuff that always was hugely meaningful to her. And she's finding that they all kind of have slightly different meanings to her now in a way. How she looks at them like, why did I think these guys were like the be-all, end-all?
Right.
I had this coming up in comedy. I think we all did. Like sometimes
Definitely.
the people you admired, and then it's a little bit like don't meet your heroes, and you're like, oh, I wish I maybe had it.
It's very scary meeting your heroes because everybody's
Nuts.
nuts or insecure.
Yeah.
Yes. Not us.
We've actually been
Except you guys.
Yes.
Logical and confident.
We've been very lucky on Hacks not to have heroes that are nuts and not good. Or we haven't had that experience. Knock wood. We've had some great. I guess it's for Micah, but here we go. We've had a great experience of having guest stars on the show who we have wanted to work with forever, who've been really great and lovely.
Yeah.
And I really love that the scene where you do defend bisexuals.
Well, there are an elite few who are attracted to both genders or all genders.
All genders?
All 15?
Wait.
All ALL.
Are you doing a bit?
No. I'm just saying you can't say that all bisexuals are faking it.
Oh, come on. We all know most of the girls are doing it these days because they want a little attention.
Okay.
Is this a bit?
No. For comedians, you're all a little out of touch.
I think what Deborah says about them being out of touch for comedians is really true because to be a comedian and to observe what's happening in culture, you have to be tapped in, and they do have a very antiquated idea of gender and sexuality and all this stuff, which obviously Deborah's had some education on from Ava, but Deborah is somebody who's learning.
And what's nice about that is it's an opportunity to see Deborah exercise her new point of view and not just for Ava.
Yeah.
She's able to, you are able to see that it's not just something she's learned, it's something she now believes in.
Yeah.
And that is a huge difference for the character. And not only does she believe it, she believes it so much that she can't even help saying it in front of these guys that she respects.
That's the hardest thing, right? Being at a cool kids table and not defending your friend that they're making fun of. That's hard. That's hard.
And then steal their toilet paper.
That's right. Now I love that cut. I love that cut, and I love that Aretha Franklin song. That needle drop is "Evil Gal," and I love it. It really works.
We've gotten the coolest music on this show.
Yeah. The Dolly Parton track.
Oh, I was just gonna say Dolly
we were
Parton.
so lucky because
I was so excited.
she is. I think she's very selective about where her work goes.
I love
It cleared
her.
for Hacks, so we thank you, Dolly.
Wow.
We thank you, Dolly, and we thank you for listening to the pod. Thank you so much.
Yes, hi, Dolly. We
For all
love
your
you.
support, we love you. And you've met Dolly.
I have met Dolly.
Yeah.
Worked with Dolly.
You worked with Dolly.
She played my fairy godmother.
I think she
Amazing.
held your
Designing
baby.
women.
She held your baby, right? Don't you have a photo?
My real baby. She
Yes.
held my real baby. Absolutely. I've got
cool.
the greatest picture of her holding
That's
Connor.
really cool.
That's really
so
cool.
cute.
Yeah.
She's the best.
One scene in this episode that really I found very moving was that scene in the kitchen where Deborah talks about her childhood and about why she wants it.
Well, cool your parents let you stay up that late. My mom wouldn't let me watch Ren and Stimpy because of all the close-ups of zits.
Yeah, well, my house wasn't real big on rules. My dad was a drinker. Oh, it's a great thing to find out about her. It was wonderful
Yeah.
because it's just sad, and you picture this little girl just. It's like, oh, please make Daddy smile.
Yeah.
Please let Daddy be okay tonight. And
When you read a scene like that where this thing is revealed about Deborah's parents, how does that work with as an actor, have you had a backstory for Deborah? Had you thought about her parents? Like, how does that work?
Well, I mean, I always try to do that, and then, and you don't want to do too much because you want it to be supported by the script.
Right.
But, and certainly a lot of stuff with her, her sister, definitely thought a lot about that. And the parents, I knew that she had lost them
Right.
on the
Yes,
young side.
Yes, that's in season 1.
And, that's something that no one gets over,
Mm-hmm.
And certainly, if there was any kind of trauma in the relationship, I think it's much harder to get over. I think that when you lose someone that you had a really good relationship with, there's grief, but there's not all that horrible regret. And to me, regret is the worst, most destructive feeling in the world, right up there with guilt.
Mm-hmm.
But so when you lose somebody that you didn't have a great relationship with, there's just massive amounts of deep, deep sadness and regret.
Yeah.
And there's no fixing it.
Yeah.
There's no chance to fix it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was a really moving scene. I really love that.
I love that scene.
Heart to heart.
And all the
with you
joke,
guys.
anytime that there was a joke in there, it makes me absolutely scream because I'm
Yeah.
so desperate to feel something other than sad.
Yeah.
I know.
Like
I
when
know.
Ava says, "There's a bathroom over here. I've been going
yes,
to the East Wing this whole time."
And that was the first time we used that little room off the kitchen.
Yeah.
So it was new for the audience. That's a huge reveal for the
I
audience.
just want to know where my pantry is.
Yeah. Oh.
Yes, to see my pantry.
Okay.
That's
That's true.
true.
We do
We
need
have
to
to
see the
gotta
be.
pantry.
Right.
It's not as big as the wardrobe.
No, but there's a ladder. There's a,
She
there's
likes
a, there's a
dry-
library ladder.
Yeah.
She likes a dry good.
That's Josefina must have a really tight, organized pantry for
Alphabetical
sure.
order.
Yeah.
Should we talk briefly about Ava getting dumped in the end of the episode?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. What did you think
Yeah.
about Ava getting
Oh, I
dumped
feel
on the
so
ring
bad.
cam?
I feel so bad for her.
Yeah.
I thought she gave up so much for Deborah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not that I'd want to go to Iceland necessarily and sit in a hotel room, wait for my
Good point.
significant other to come home every
okay.
night.
Good
but,
point.
Okay.
But yeah, and when she went back to the table and thought she was crying because she'd lost.
That was at a scene that actually almost got cut, her returning back to the trivia. And then at the very last minute, our editor Rob Paglia, hi Rob, he made a heartfelt plea for that scene to go back in.
Oh,
He said,
good.
guys, I really think that sets up the episode or ends that storyline, and it also gives an opportunity for us to feel why Ava's so angry later. She
In the kitchen.
in the kitchen.
Oh, right, of
To
course.
see her be really devastated, and then that turned into anger.
Yes.
He's like, I think that gives you a little bit more.
Oh, you
to
know what? He's right.
And he was
Yeah,
right.
he was right.
He is
He
very
was
right.
right.
Observant.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
We try very hard to keep our episodes at or around 30 minutes. And also, dear listener, when you see the runtime, that is including the 90 seconds of credits. So you got to subtract some. We want to make sure you're listening, Barbara.
And it's 80.
Okay, when you see one that says 35 minutes, it's not 35 minutes, Ms. Streisand. Anyway, but there's always that struggle of like keeping it really tight and making sure there's not excess, but also making sure that we honor the character storyline and also Hannah was great in that scene.
What was the last line that just made her just lose it?
She said, "Is there food here?" And they said,
say
"No."
She's. I love the fact that she's such a chow hound.
Oh, she loves
Oh,
food.
my
She loves
God.
food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there food here?
Yeah, that was good.
And I
It
also
was
like
good.
in later with the cheese when you say cheese is binding, and she goes, "Not for me." Oh,
Very
and I think that
funny.
we did that on the day. I think that was it.
The
on
not
the,
for me, I think, was maybe a
That was
Hannah ad.
that was a Hannah ad.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
And
a
the
Hannah
cheese
improv.
was actually your pitch, Gene,
Yeah, it was.
It was gonna
dear
be
listener,
bananas.
It was
Yeah.
bananas.
because they're also binding.
Yeah, unfortunately, I hate bananas.
And also, how many can you eat? You could eat a bunch of blocks of cheese. That was
Also, too, I knew it would be very hard to match the
Yes.
That's
level
right, that's
of
right,
the
of
banana
banana.
going
You're
down,
right,
down,
yes.
down, over
Ooh,
and
if
over
you'd
and
had
over
to
and
eat
over.
so many bananas. Yeah,
That would have taken forever.
You're right.
Right.
So I knew I could kind of fudge little pieces of cheese.
yeah.
Mhm.
That
But
was
you
good.
did eat a lot of cheese.
I ate a lot of cheese.
And believe it or not, there was a lot of discussion about what the cheese would be in and how it would be prepared, potentially by Josefina. And we
That's
had
true.
blocks of cheese, but we were like, you know what? There's a cheese board put out every once in a while. It's almost like a high-end hotel at that
full of
house.
cubes. That's like perfect.
Perfect.
Exactly.
It worked very well. And in fact, I got to say, I like your Tupperware work. You're slapping that that lid down, and it's really funny. You're dragging it over here. It is really good. It's good.
Really good food acting.
Yes. Which
I
is
mean-
hard. Which is hard.
It is hard. Well, we go on for hours because we love hanging with you, but thank you, Jean, for joining us on the pod.
Anytime. Anytime.
We love seeing you. We love having you.
This has been the Official Hacks podcast with Paul W. Downs, Jen Statsky, and myself, Lucia Aniello. This podcast is a production of Max and Pineapple Street Studios. Our executive producers are Gabrielle Lewis, Barry Finkel, and J.Ann Barry. Our producers are Melissa Slaughter and Ben Goldberg. Darby Maloney is our editor. This episode was mixed by Hannes Brown. Pineapple's head of sound and engineering is Raj Makija. And Pineapple's senior audio engineers are Marina Pais and Pedro Elvira. This episode was engineered by Javier Cruces. Special thanks to Kenya Reyes, Aaron Kelly, and Michael Gluckstadt from the Max podcast team. And big special thanks to Jean Smart for joining us on the podcast today. Love you, Jeannie. We'll be back soon to talk about episode 5. See you then.
Those are dog biscuits.
I'm aware they're delicious and grain-free.